events, it was a little bit more surprising. The country had to do more adjusting and processing of it. It undoubtedly created more anxiety than it will 20 years from now, provoked more reactions in some portion of the population than it will 20 years from now, and that's understandable. President Trump tapped into this white anxiety, putting issues of race and ethnicity at the core of his campaign. Just over half, 58% of whites voted for him. But class counted too. Trump secured the support of 2/3, 67% of whites without a college degree, helping him to narrow wins in swing states in the Midwest. There is one good reason why many Americans may feel as if the upper middle class is leaving everyone else behind. They are. Americans in the top fifth of the income distribution, broadly households with incomes above the $120,000 mark, are separating from the rest. This separation is economic, visible in bank balances and salaries, but it can also be seen in education, family structure, health and longevity, even in civic and community life. The economic gap is just the most vivid sign of a deepening class divide. Inequality has become a lively political issue, indeed the defining challenge of our time, according to Obama. But too often the rhetoric of inequality points to a top 1% problem, as if the bottom 99% is in a similarly dire situation. This obsession with the upper class allows the upper middle class to convince ourselves we're in the same boat as the rest of America, but it is not true. At first glance, Trump's success among middle-class whites might seem surprising, given his own wealth. But his movement was about class, not money. Trump exuded and validated blue-collar culture and was loved for it. His supporters have no problem with the rich. In fact, they admire them. The enemy is upper-middle-class professionals, journalists, scholars, technocrats, managers, bureaucrats, the people with letters after their names. You and me. And here is the difficult part. However messily it is expressed, much of the criticism of our class is true. We proclaim the net benefits of free trade, technological advances and immigration, safe in the knowledge that we will be among the beneficiaries. Equipped with high levels of human capital, we can flourish in a global economy. The cities we live in are zoned to protect our wealth, but deter the unskilled from sharing in it. Professional licensing and an immigration policy tilted towards the low-skilled shield us from the intense market competition faced by those in non-professional occupations. We proclaim the benefits of free markets, but are largely insulated from the risks they can pose. Small wonder other folks can get angry. The upper middle class has been having it pretty good, and it is about time those of us in the favoured fifth recognised our privileged position. Some humility and generosity is required. But there is clearly some work to do in terms of raising awareness. Right now, there is something of a culture of entitlement among America's upper middle class. Partly this is because of a natural tendency to compare ourselves to those even better off than us. This is the "we are the 99% problem. But it is also because we feel entitled to our position, since it results from our own merit, our education, brains, and hard work. These problems were illuminated by the 529 furor. Veteran tax scholar Howard Gleckman noted sadly that the demise of Obama's plan reflected the lack of serious interest in reform by most lawmakers today. I think it reflected something much worse. The lawmakers were fairly honestly reflecting the views of their constituents and reacting to commentary in the media. But there certainly was a lack of interest in self-reflection by the upper middle class. Those of you who don't follow tax history closely may not recall that it was George W. Bush who in 2001 gave us the chance to grow capital tax-free in 529 plans. When Republicans proposed it during Bill Clinton's second term, he promptly vetoed it. Look how a regressive Bush-era tax cut can become so precious to the upper middle class, including its most liberal members. You may have noticed that I'm often using the term we to describe the upper middle class rather than they. As a Brookings Senior Fellow and a resident of an affluent